out from Tuesday through Thursday of next week. We have people coming in to cook and help clean up and serve, all that stuff. Hopefully we'll reevaluate and see where we're at, because I know that we have a lot of residents that still don't have access to gas and availability to cook. So it kind of depends on when MDU can get in here and finish up all that stuff. So that's on the donation center basically, because we don't have all the donations that we did. Family Services was available to take a lot of those donations since they have been helping us out a ton. We thought, why not give back to them? And then if anybody does need anything, I am constantly getting individuals asking what they can donate. So I have a list of furnitures and clothing and all that kind of stuff that I'm just taking a running list, because we don't have a place to put anything.
Right.
So if they want to just contact me. And then I still have volunteers coming in. We have the United Methodist Church group here today and tomorrow, and then they are leaving, and then another Methodist Church group is coming in for another 3 days. I have a gentleman from, I want to say it's the Baptist Christian, another church group that's wanting to come in, and him and I are actually going to be out and about Thursday to kind of evaluate and see where everybody's at and what still needs to be done. And so he can decide if he needs to pull his volunteers in to help do that. I can think of a few homes that still need help with that kind of stuff. So, and then of course we're talking to different foundations and different groups about how to help people rebuild and what all needs to be done there. So there's all sorts of people that are coming forward, churches and all sorts of stuff that are looking more at finances for sheetrock insulation, heating systems, hot water systems, all of that stuff. So
Has there been any major donations into the Fromberg coffers?
There's been a big one from the Kids Corner over in Red Lodge. She has kicked in a lot. She's a sweetheart. We're still waiting from, and a lot of people had donated to the Red Lodge Foundation, but I also have gotten phone calls from big companies and corporations that refuse to deal with Red Lodge. So as soon as they are able to, they want to again donate.
So I talked to you today about the
Clark's Fork, Yellowstone
yeah.
Valley. Yes, foundation fund.
And that's open and running?
That is open and running. We got our 501(c) in place and have for the last week. So that is we're starting to take donations, and what we're going to do is kind of like the Red Lodge Foundation has now put themselves on a back burner to see what else is coming in to help, and that's basically what this foundation is going to do also, is just kind of see where the need's going to need to be filled when the dust settles, because I think that's going to be very important. People aren't realizing what they lost right now. So
Yeah. Any corporate donations into that fund?
not yet. I'm still waiting to hear from Northwest Energy. They have contacted me a couple of times. So,
Yeah.
and then Stillwater is still talking.
Are they?
Yeah.
So I asked you earlier, and I'll ask you again so that it'd be public knowledge. Who is kind of facilitating that fund and who's overseeing it so that we make sure that is run
Smoothly. So all the girls that have been volunteering, Shala, Tanya, Olinda, Bobby Seawright, and I are all from different towns up and down this valley. So we're all pulling together, so we don't have individual, I know this person, yes, they need all the money they can get. We have everybody's input saying, well, we need to be fair and look at the situation that, from different aspects, not just.
Because there's a good chance that there'd be a large chunk of change show up in that account. And I'm
That'd be
really
wonderful.
concerned that it's doled out,
Yes.
properly.
yes.
And not all to 3 or 4 friends, like you
Right.
said.
Right, no. No, I've never met these women until the flood. And they are all in it with their heart and souls.
Yeah. Good.
Well, how have we, with the Red Lodge fund, I know a lot of money went into that fund. And a lot of checks were supposed to be coming over and Lacey was gonna distribute it.
I got those now.
Well, you've got the
Yeah.
checks now?
Yeah, they came after you left.
Yeah,
Okay. So, was there a lot of them?
There is quite a few, and they did, I'm pretty sure, I wasn't like trying to be snoopy, but I just wanted to know how much they actually helped, and I'm pretty sure they helped everyone to the max that they gave a check to.
And how much is max?
So the max was 3,000.
Okay, so it was definitely something that they could go out and buy some sheet
The water
rock.
Yeah.
the water heater,
Water
or the
heater.
furnace, or
And that's what
something
big
like
things
that.
going.
that's what that foundation was, this certain application for this certain checks was only to get you back into a safe living conditions.
Okay.
So that's what they were looking at, who needs the water heater. And my opinion, I live in Montana for the last 18,000 years. I think everybody deserves a heating system. But
Right.
Yes.
unfortunately, 3,000 wouldn't cover that.
Okay. But then everybody that has had an opportunity to fill out that form, can they still fill out that form?
They certainly can, but I'm not sure when they're gonna be able to reevaluate and see what's going on. I was talked to the head of that department today. But next
So those that
time,
have already applied, they're probably gonna be all there is for now.
by the sounds of it. So I'm not sure when they're gonna open it again, and it's gonna be for a totally different type of application. So,
I do have one question for you. One of the checks is somebody who's not from here. How do I go about getting a hold of this person?
ask me later.
It's someone at Cilicia.
Alicia?
Yeah.
They should have emailed that person
Okay.
and told them that it is
Okay.
here at this location.
Good. We have a question in the back.
We went to, my wife and I went to Red Lodge to FEMA up there, and they have other entities up there like the Red Cross, and you can go into the Red Cross and you can apply, and they might be able to help you also financially too. So, but I mean, you gotta get registered, you can't just fill something out, you gotta go up there and register, and
You gotta go to Red Lodge to do that.
Yeah. You could either call them or register.
and
Go
they,
there. Salvation Army is the same.
and they'll ask you if you give them permission to give your name out to other entities that can help you also. So
Was that
there
part of
is
your
help out
packet?
there.
That we had up at the gym?
When we did the march, yes,
Yeah.
they were there. Red Cross is counselors, so that's kind of the only reason why Red Cross was around until the march, and that's when I found out that they were actually doing financial help. So I think just like FEMA has so many different groups that actually do one job,
Yeah.
the Red Cross is the same, and they only sent us their counselors. So
They sent people around.
Red Cross, they did do
And
the
money.
assessment, yeah. Yeah, they were doing the assessments, the damage assessments.
They
is what
showed
call
up
it.
the door 2 days after that meeting in the gym.
Good,
On a Sunday, he showed up the door.
nice.
Oh,
Left
So
a
were they
five-
doing the
left a
financial-
$500 check.
Oh, did you
Card.
apply at the gym?
Mhm.
That's
So-
awesome. I didn't know that they were handing it out like that. That's good.
Okay, so I hope people are taking advantage of these programs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All you had to do is stop and talk to that girl. She tried to give you everything she had on the table and
Yeah.
fill out the papers.
Yeah, good.
Oh, good. I'm glad to see that some of it is paid off. And it's helping some of the people on that side.
Yes.
Thank you.
Is Team Rubicon coming this week? Have you heard?
We have not gotten a definite on whether they are gonna come or not. They have done their second assessment. They did contact me and said that they are, basically, if they did come, it was to tear houses down.
Okay.
And I told them that we're not told who has the right to do that?
Okay.
There's no state inspector and there's no health department that's available to do that.
Okay. Anything else as far as the flood issues? Yes, go ahead.
Just security wise, people need to go to FEMA, double check, make sure their information's right. Someone went on our information and changed our routing and bank account information to go to somebody else. And the same individual is used his same account for multiple people.
Right.
So if you've got a fraud notification in your email and your FEMA website, you've probably been hacked. So double check it.
Are they getting it straightened out for you?
Yeah, well, there's 5 different people give me 5 different answers, but the general basis is call this number. So I call this number, and they tell me they can't do a three-thing authentication. You know how it sends you your phone number and the email? Well, another guy told us that we could do a voice password. Say you call me and your voice password is Rumpelstiltskin. You're the only person that knows that. But when we called, they're like, that's not SOP and we can't do it like that. So their only recourse is check your stuff every day until then. Because the day of our inspection, somebody called and confirmed that our inspection happened. Then they wanted to make sure that our routing number and bank was the same thing. And I asked, how could they do it when I went and changed it to a password? I didn't have to write down and remember because I don't know all that stuff. And they say, oh, it's really easy. Anybody can act like me. I'm like, how can they act like me? They just give you the information. This is where it happened. This is my number. And anybody can change your information. They changed mine to a Hotmail. And they changed my phone number to 4296.
Yeah.
And I've been calling, I'd show you text message after. I've been trying to get him here. He won't come. He told me I already did my application. He's trying to help other people now. So I don't know who he's trying to help. It'd be Larry of Hector. By the way, Hector is a real person at the call center. So apparently the guy called, got his information, and is now using his information as Hector. So it was really confusing. We spent 2 hours a day trying to get it all solved. So if we can save some people time, just get out there, double check your information.
FEMA does need the stewing part of that. My wife called the number to find out because they put a fraud notice out because we had 2 people come to the house. We got a hold of a lady who told her, oh no, it's all virtual now. They don't do house visits. Meanwhile, we had 2 people at the house with a proper identification that did everything by the book, and everything's going smooth.
Yeah,
So this part, don't know this part.
exactly. If
We
we ran
had-
into the same
We went up to
issues over
the
and
church, they had it all straightened out. Another couple come in. Oh, that's right, we seen you up there. Now we have another pair coming tomorrow morning.
Yeah, you got 11:30.
We're the most popular people in the world to FEMA.
Yeah.
But it's driving my wife crazy.
Yeah.
She doesn't know what to do.
Elton, you had a question?
Yeah, a long-term deal. The commissioners and everybody, do they have a plan on a basic drain system for this town in case this happens again?
Drainage system?
The drain system, because I hear that the gutters are clogged up, they aren't working, and also you have the lagoons sitting in the way. You have, there's problems. Is there any way that there can be a comprehensive plan set up so that we don't have, I think we could have, I think things went pretty good actually, but I think we could have saved some of the damage, and I think the potential for catastrophic stuff down the line is really big. Unless there's a comprehensive plan.
The river came in from 3 different directions. It would be hard to have it drain into a river that's higher than the drain.
When it came in backwards from behind down from the lagoons, it was coming in backwards.
Yeah.
We got videotape of it. All 3
It-
conversions.
It would be nice to have a really good drain system because, I don't know, we don't normally pay attention to dips and dives and how our land lays in the town.
We do now.
We do now.
What
It's,
about that ditch going down by Nate and them where you used to be? When I first moved here, that was a really good drain ditch, where you lived here too. And then all of a sudden, people wanted pretty lawns and pretty yards. And I remember Jim O'Connor said, this is not going to
Now,
This,
you know,
they ought to
all the
keep.
drain ditches would have, you know, I don't know if they
Well, I
would-
know that when they stopped it, but
Wouldn't
it
have stopped
it is a
this
good
incident.
ditch to have a drain ditch.
It, I know Jay and I had talked about, because we had to breach this ditch out here on
Right.
East River Street. However, in doing so, my thought was to get the water out of there and run on down and down and back into the river. I did not know that there's a dike down there and the culvert that goes through it is plugged up. And Jay and I have been working on it for 4 or 5 days trying to find the culvert and pumping water out so that we can figure out how to drain that. Because now we got this big swamp back there that's probably given half the mosquitoes the town has from that.
I didn't mean that
That'll be
side, I
6
mean
months
the side
drain
by
right
me.
now.
Like by the park,
Yeah.
where I always rent
But-
them out.
But getting in, you know, these ditches and stuff, it would be nice.
Yeah, because the public just filled them in on their own.
Yeah, nobody uses them anymore.
Well, I
Everybody's
can help
sprinkles.
you with that, because I technically still have water rights, and I can plow a line for you all the way from the railroad tracks down the front of everybody's yard, and I'm sure I'll be very popular then too.
I'll vote for Miss Poppy.
There you go, Ryan.
I don't think that would
I
help.
want help.
Yeah, we need,
No, but I mean, that is true, you guys, they pulled that one out of the front, and the one in the back that's elevated, because that's what kept your water in, that's our water system that you guys put through there to get, which is totally with you on it, understand. But that's antiquated, and we've talked, a number of the council members and I have talked about that, having that water running through town is just a really huge liability. It needs to go underground. It really does. But you're looking at, you know, a small number of people using that ditch. Still, I pay thousands of dollars worth of ditch rights and can't use it. So something's gonna happen, or it's just gonna back up around the house and or do the town again.
I don't know what we're gonna do as far as that ditch. I know Jay and I talked about putting some pipes, culverts underneath the ditch so that that will drain, because that is it's a dip in the lay of the land there.
Yeah.
However, we just could not, you know, the water backed up 4 to 5 feet in there, where if we hadn't done that, it probably would have been 7 or 8 feet.
You did the right thing. I am not complaining at all about that.
I know, but we had talked about doing something underneath, but then we get into the problem of, you know, we're messing with somebody's private property.
Well, but this, by the same token, the state putting in a bridge that was 4 feet higher than what it normally was when their pavement ended at the end of my driveway, where all of the water went through, which funneled it straight through all of my property. I mean, seriously.
I
So
know.
who's, you know, and we're supposed to stand up and say, you have changed the waterways and now you're responsible. So I guess, how am I gonna do that? Because I have a new waterway through the middle of my place.
Yes, I know.
And I'm not, you know, I'm not yelling at you, Tim.
I
I'm just
know.
really angry because it's
I-
like this, there's nothing I can do about
watch
it.
the water run through there.
I still need my gravel back too.
You're gonna have to pay for your gravel, sir.
There you go, there you get your money back.
That's mine, finders keepers, come out with tweezers.
Dalton, you got a question?
Well, I have, I'm thinking of, maybe with a little bit of negotiations with the county and the city and the landowner, maybe there's a chance that that dike at the bottom could be fixed up so it would handle, I suppose he wants a pond or something now and then. They could handle flood as well as fix the situation so it wouldn't totally mess him up for pasture, and it wouldn't mess up. I mean, in other words, I think, couldn't there be a way that could be handled with some nice negotiating going on, some really honest talking?
Yeah, it could.
And of course, it's good for the landowner and for the town, in other words.
I think once we get over the crisis mode, we're back into the recovery mode now. Once we get kind of through the recovery mode, that's something we definitely need to work on. 'Cause we need to get that figured out. Because it's not the first time it's come over the railroad tracks. You know, this time just happened to be, you know, it was running over there 2 feet deep. All over that. So there was way more water running over the railroad tracks than what we had running in the river last year. So, you know, it's something that we need to address, yes. So maybe in 6 months, if you could revisit that with us so we can.
I'll probably think of it.
Yeah, would you please?
Yes.
Because right now, everything is going
Yeah,
on.
I understand that perfectly. I'm just trying to kind
Well,
of get something out there.
It's something that, yes, and that's a good idea. It's the same as doing something with, down the road with the height of the road to kind of channel that water differently. I know the floodplain is gonna be very interesting over the next year. So, there's gonna be a bunch of new rules and all kinds of stuff coming out with it. But that's something we'll have to deal with as it comes. Okay, any other issues on the flood? Public Works Director. Jay,
I got nothing.
you got nothing?
I got nothing.
I think you deserve a break.
He went fishing last
I was
week.
gonna say, a public shaming, I don't know if you're ready for that.
I want my $2 worth.
Oh, I don't even remember what day it is anymore. I don't know.
Well, our toilets are flushing. that's all.
Okay,
Do that all the time.
one thing that I know Jay has worked nonstop, solid. Me, I have to go home and turn on the TV and zone out for a little bit every day just to kind of keep my sanity. And Jay doesn't get that option. So I can understand. We are getting some gravel in, donated gravel. As everybody knows, the town has no money, so we have to rely on donations and stuff. So we got gravel donated. And we're gonna be starting to work on some of these roads.
Yeah, I've been fixing parking lots. The baseball field, I fixed that. The parks, that'll be next.
And I was down there at the ball field and it does need to be mowed. Just
We got a game on Monday. Double header. Yeah, double
So
header on Monday.
if we have any volunteers that would like to volunteer to come help us mow,
I'm gonna be off work for a while, so I can definitely get on more.
you can get on more.
I can run a mower, I got the
Okay, good. So we got the mowing taken care of for the ball field.
I like mowing.
Thank you.
Perfect.
Jay thanks you.
Put
Lacey
that-
thanks you.
I've been everywhere. Parking lots, trimming trees on unsafe conditions.
You volunteered for that.
I've been helping Danny out.
Yes.
I've been all over the place.
So did they get the 400 ton today? When did they send the 400 ton gravel that we asked for?
They're supposed to be.
If there was a way to recover it out of my yard, and I'm not joking. I don't really know how to recover, because there is a huge gravel berm that goes through my chicken coop.
Well, through both of them.
Yeah.
And then with the other house.
You've been over there looking again, haven't you? So I mean, if there's something that we can do,
I tell you what we're gonna try to do for the park.
if it
Jay's
helps.
gonna take the little skid steer that we borrowed from the county because it works a whole lot better than ours. And he's gonna try to scrape the gravel out of the park to get it off of there. And as long as it's dry and he's hitting that dry surface, he might be able to scrape those up and out of there.
Yeah.
And that might be an option that you might look at if this works.
Well, the only thing with hers though, she has sprinklers.
I've got a sprinkler system that's all underground. Jay, just come over and get with Ron and we'll, my husband had a little bit of a fit with Bobcat's coming, we got this thing handled, but just come talk to him, okay?
Okay.
We'll take care of it off, but if there is something that I can do to help back up there, I'm sure happy to do that.
Okay, well, thank you.
I just don't know how to, because it's in there embedded.
Well, there's gotta be a better way than with the shovel.
I know, and I was thinking with a broom, I just don't know the,
Well, as you probably know, it's just as hard as concrete.
yeah.
So it's not gonna be a fun job. Okay, town clerk, Lacey,
No, it's wrong.
where to begin?
Yeah. Well, from here, starting now, I guess, it's all gonna be FEMA stuff for public assistance, which is the town stuff. So we're gonna be collecting all kinds of stuff on that. That's one thing.
Are they sending somebody in to help you?
Yes, tomorrow, he's gonna come in. He said he wants to make it as easy as possible for everyone, so that it can just get done and be over with. So hopefully he needs that, but.
So when he gets here, give him the key and go. As easy as it can be.
Thank you so much for doing this. No, but, yeah, he'll be here tomorrow at 10:30, and then we're gonna start the list. And it's still gonna be going through documentation from everything that we've collected all this time, such as, just Jay has like a binder full of paperwork to go through. And then there's also the floodplain, because we are in charge of that too. And so I have to make sure that nobody does anything without a permit if they're in the floodplain. So I'm gonna have to work some more on that. We don't want anything to happen again. So when you're rebuilding, these things are for your own good, these permits, you know, so that you don't have to do this again, hopefully. So I have to go back around and go through and all that too, but there is no timeline on that, just as long as I get that before they start building. You know. So that, but luckily there's only 19 people in the floodplain, so. that would be
19 dwellings?
Yes. Yeah, 19 properties in the city limits.
When you say building, does that include things like replacing the things that were already, like the trailer skirting? Is that, do I need a permit for that kind of stuff? Is that the same? No? Or
Your trailer skirting?
Yeah.
Well, it depends on how high it sets, yeah, because
If you change the course, well, like if you built up your establishment,
Okay,
you might
but
be required to build.
If you have to disconnect and move your trailer, then you'd have to go by the new rules.
okay, it's just, I'm okay with what I have just to replace what I have.
I believe so, if you just put the skirting on.
And demolition is irrelevant?
Well,
Interior.
demolition is.
Like
You can
tear
tear it
down to
down, you
replace,
just can't
is
put
that
it
what
back
you're
up without.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can tear down, but you can't put back.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that's all I need to make sure that I was.
And anything that you're gonna do that's gonna disturb the dirt in a major way has to have a permit.
and
So
that is kind of speaking to what she's saying, that's something that they're kicking around that, I mean, as fast as things move, we probably won't see it till next year, but they're looking at the new rules where, say, if you brought in a modular, like, instead of being able to do 16-inch wide footing, 8-inch deep, and 4-foot walls, like now it might be a 6-foot with 24 or whatever, like it just might be a revisit, but
Yeah.
I think grandfathered in or something.
I just.
As of right now, you just have to follow our ordinance,
Okay.
though, for rules, which I have a whole bunch of those printed out. It's really long though, but I'll give you one.
Yeah, that'd be great.
And then I'll give you an application too, so you just have it, or a
Okay.
permit. Application for a permit.
I need to come and visit with you anyway.
What?
What was that?
I have to come and visit anyway.
Oh, okay.
I don't want to be delinquent on my water bill, I'll be right there.
Let's see. I'm just glad I got almost everything done for this, because the last Friday, yesterday and today, the phone would not stop ringing. I almost unplugged it, literally almost unplugged it, because I needed to get this done. I was so frustrated, but I got them all done but one.
That's good. I know you've done that.
But, and then the boil, well, Tony's not here anymore, but like she said, it would be a lot easier if there was somebody or somewhere for people to go where they can see these things instead of calling me 50 times over it.
Yeah, it'd save you time.
Like the boil order.
Yeah.
Because I talk to the same people over and over every couple days, and it's the same answer. But, and that's exactly what that would save me on.
All we can do is learn from our mistakes.
Yeah.
Now,
Oh, but the audit's over. This one,
It is.
anyway. Yeah.
Good.
But we'll probably, because of the ARPA money, yeah, we'll probably be audited every year for a while if the ARPA thing keeps going and we keep going through that process. But it'll be
Which-
easier this time.
brings up that Chad Hansen with Great West Engineering with their contract.
Did we get approved from the funds?
We were approved. And then I had to advertise in the Carbon County News for, people put in, or contractors put in bids for our projects, and nobody put in by him. So,
Outstanding, he does great work.
so yeah,
We win by default.
we just need to know, like, if I can go ahead and tell him to start making a contract, since he's the only one. We don't really have a.
So we need to make a motion
He-
to accept him as our contractor.
Well, he said that, that if you guys can agree to, for me to tell him to start the contract, then we can have the contract on the next one.
The
And you guys
contract
can
or
go
the
over
bid?
it, the contract for the, or, since he's the only one. But,
He would be the contractor.
He
Did he
did put-
submit a bid?
yeah, and I'll have to put
I
that
haven't
in with
seen
it
that.
too.
Has that been in front of us?
I don't think so, cause this has all been in the same,
Yeah,
I
cause
use
his
all this.
contract would include the bid and then we'd review that. correct?
So if we tell him to proceed to get it ready, then
Yeah.
he'll bring it next time.
And then
And we can review it
we
Yeah.
review
and look at
say
it and
yes
then
or
vote
no.
on it.
Right.
But yeah, he was kind of getting frustrated with me too over this last month because he needed to get rolling on those things.
Sure.
And there just wasn't time. There wasn't time.
Well, what is time sensitive to him?
Well, he just wanted to
He
get,
just wants to get it
well,
going.
probably,
And it doesn't
because
have
he
to
doesn't
be
have our
done.
signatures yet.
I mean,
but
he has to realize what we're going through and what
exactly.
you're going through.
And that's,
And
a
it might
lot
be
of
delayed a
people
month.
aren't getting that.
It
But,
might be delayed a month.
and he did say that would be okay if we have to
I hope
really
so.
come on. Yeah,
Okay, well, let's do that. Is that all right with you guys to have him put together that contract?
Yeah.
yeah, and
We'll
then, yeah,
review
it's
it
just a
then.
draft.
Okay, a draft. Okay, is there anything else for the clerk? Okay. Anything the council would like to talk about or anything to say?
One thing I'd like to bring up is, I don't know when or how we completely orchestrate it, but I think after what we just went through, there should be some sort of acknowledgement for certain people and certain small businesses. Like Sam Coolmore stuck his neck out saying, I'll front it just to get you a furnace, whatever, and get you up and running. And Gene Spencer coming out, I mean, at his age, I know what it costs to drive a diesel pickup. I can't imagine what it costs. Jim, hours he put in, Tina, I mean, there needs to be almost some sort of like, and if somebody knows somebody, come in, drop a note to her and to say, hey, this is, even if they don't have to show up to the meeting, I mean, a lot of these people, they would rather go in the shadows and not be acknowledged, but at least we stand up and we all give a thank you if they're here or not, but I mean, a lot of people went out of their damn way, and to me, I was impressive.
We send a lot of thank you notes.
Yeah, I appreciate it. That goes, it's amazing how something like that little goes that far, though.
Oh,
I mean, just
thank you
keep it up
notes
and
are
it's-
just
They're huge.
unreal.
Yep, exactly.
It'd be nice if we could do like a barbecue or something like that.
Yeah, just
Yeah,
some
thank
sort of
you.
thing.
Thank you,
Oh,
Barb.
yeah.
True.
Have Convert days.
True.
Utilize
That's,
it.
we were talking about that
Yeah.
too. Have
They
some
do an
conference
open
days where
tab
we
or
mention
whatever, I don't care, but they